Hi, I'm Pinky Daga, CEO for Thriive Art Soul, and I'm here today with Zia Nath, this wonderful Pyramid Valley at the GFSS 11. Hi, Zia, how are you?
Hi, Pinky. Thank you. How are
It's
you?
such an honor to have you here. I can already see the elegance and grace in just the way you walk. Zia is, for those of you who don't know, Zia is one of India's premier danceuses in sacred dance, and she is an expert in whirling mandalas, which is a kind of a branch off of a Sufi dance, if I am not mistaken. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
right. Okay, so tell me a little bit more exactly about what is the kind of dance that you do.
So, over the years, I've trained and studied different dance forms.
Right.
I have been attracted to dance forms that come from ancient cultures, have a spiritual, sacred element, orientation to it. And I got involved in Sufi dances,
Right.
the Sufi whirling dances, also Gurdjieff sacred movements that come from ancient Sufi practices. I was studying that for many years, and I got involved in the Indian Odissi temple dances.
Okay.
They also, have a very deep, sacred, spiritual element to it. And about a decade ago, I put these dances together, made my show, Realms of Dance,
Right.
and that's what I present now.
So you've been presenting the realms of dance for a decade.
Yeah.
And you mainly perform all in India or all around the world?
I've performed all across the country and also internationally.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. And tell me, how did your journey really begin? Like, what inspired you to, get into dance? Were you trained as a young child, or how did the journey start?
No, I was always interested in dance as a young child, but no one in my family has been in the field of dance or art, actually. So I didn't get that exposure.
Right.
And I remember asking my mom many times, please send me for dance class. She didn't know anything about it, so it's not something she could put me into.
Right.
I was training as a swimmer, and then my coach got in synchronized swimming, and that was my first exposure to dance, actually.
Lovely.
So I was about 12 when I got involved in synchronized swimming, and we learned a little bit of ballet, and so that's really ballet in the water at a very basic form. It was a very beautiful beginning.
Yeah.
Then I got into Shamak Davar's training,
Right.
joined his company, traveled around with his company.
Yeah.
And on one of the travels, we were in Pune, and I saw a notice about a public performance, Sufi performance at the Osho commune. So I went to see it, and it just spellbound me, I think, for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you'll always remember that.
So that was
I can
actually the
understand.
beginning of my dance exploration in the realm of sacred dances.
Right. And did you have a teacher who taught you, or was
So
it more of a self-exploration?
Well, the Gurdjieff movements, I joined the intensive training at the Osho Meditation Resort, and that was a 40-day in silence, very intense program. There were, teachers in the Gurdjieff work who were experts in it, who had actually studied by watching videos and also under the guidance of Osho about what kind of inner space to hold, how to orient the participants into the meditativeness of the work. So that was really special to have those teachers. And then I went and studied in America with second generation disciples of George Gurdjieff. That was really beautiful because that was not coming from their whole orientation to spirituality was very different. It was a Western orientation. I was coming very much from the Eastern space of the heart, and the letting go of the ego, the deathlessness of Sufism. And here there was like the Gurdjieff work was really about involving the mind, the body, the heart. It was it was like a single pointed arrow, very different quality. I enjoyed the exploration of both, studying the same dance but with different orientation. That was a very rich experience. Sufi whirling was kind of self-learned, which was nice because then I developed my own form. I never studied the structured Sufi whirling. Yeah.
But tell me, Zia, I'm curious to know that for somebody who just wants not to do it as a performance, but to really adapt dance as a form of their own spirituality,
Yeah.
to reach
Yeah.
higher places in themselves,
Yeah.
to discover themselves better.
Yeah.
How would you find it's for so many people, they don't understand how you can find yourself
Yeah.
through dance.
Right.
So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
So when we're dancing, we are using our body.
Right.
Our body is our home to our consciousness.
Yes, of course.
And there's no better way to reach the consciousness than to enter the home.
Right.
So we need to know our body.
Yeah.
When we, if we do any regular movement practice,
Yeah.
for example, a sport, right? Football, cricket, Zumba.
Yeah.
These kind of dances. We're dancing at a disco.
Right.
So we're not so much aware of how the body is moving, right? There's an instinct, there's an impulse, there's a certain discipline if you're playing a sport.
Right.
But there isn't the awareness of what is the quality of energy from inside that is moving the body.
Right.
So in sacred dance, the orientation is different. We first work towards recognizing the quality of energy from inside the body. We work with this quality of energy, and this reflects in the movement outside.
Right.
In a way, then there is a wholeness because you're working with the body inside and outside.
Yeah, so you need not, if you want to explore this, you not need to be a professional dancer. Is it just like an expression?
You don't need to be a professional dancer.
When you are in workshop with just a common man who just wants to explore it.
Yeah, they don't need to be professional dancers, but a discipline is required.
Of course, yes.
Because the discipline helps the mind to remain present.
Right.
The discipline helps our, let's say, broadly we have three centers, a mind, body and heart.
Right.
So discipline helps all of these facets of our being to be in one place, and that's when a union happens in ourselves. That's when there's a quantum leap of being in this world and making that leap into higher consciousness.
Right.
So the discipline is really helpful.
Right. Do you also practice certain meditations to help get you in that space, in the zone? Or is your dance enough?
I really feel my dance is enough, and actually I remember when I was, Osho's discourses have helped me a lot as a guiding to understanding the quality of meditation. So then one learns that there are so many things that one can do if my awareness is centered in a specific way, that brings unity and wholeness to my being, then I am in a meditative space.
Of course.
There was also something that I remember, it was in one of Osho's discourses. When you're whirling, it's beautiful. You can go on for 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. The whirling meditations really go on endlessly. As long as the musicians keep playing, the whirlers keep whirling. And the musicians are looking at the whirlers. As long as they keep whirling, we'll keep playing. So it can actually
go on. There's no limit.
It sometimes just goes on endlessly. And whirling is so beautiful. It's self-generating. Like from somewhere, the energy just keeps coming.
Right? It's just a couple of minutes. You're into it, and then you're just.
And after a while,
it just takes over.
It takes over. When you stop, then the whole body is like, after an hour or 1.5 hours, the body is like really hurting. But when you're in it, you just don't feel it.
No.
So I remember in one of Osho's discourses where he explained that when you finish your whirling, you lie down. It's very important to lie down on the belly and earth the energy. Otherwise, you're just left with too much energy in your body. So it's good to do the earthing, lie on your belly. Then you have to sit. And that is when the meditation really is just available for you.
Yeah,
before
because you're already in that zone, you've just accessed.
Yeah, it's so lovely. And before that, everything is a preparation for that moment when you're sitting. And whenever I've done that, that has been really my most profound moments of meditation. So that's really entering the space of vipassana.
Of course.
Everything just becomes quiet, you become the watcher, and it's effortless. You don't need to do it. It's just, you're just watching, oh my God, this is just happening. After a while, even that fades away.
And then you're just in a...
It's, a lot of deep silence. The body is silent. So, my meditation is still connected to dance.
Definitely. Tell me one memorable performance you have where very often when I speak to a lot of artists and things like that, they say that there's always that moment where there's a leap, where the me, the self stops and there's another energy that just takes over, and when it's only when you're done you're like, oh my god, what did I do, have you experienced anything like that?
Yeah,
Anything memorable?
actually, it was in two places. One was at the Jahani Khusrau festival that happens every year by Muzaffar Ali. It's a Sufi festival. And
It's in India?
It's in India, in Delhi. So
Okay.
that year we had done it in Delhi, Jaipur, and Lucknow. And the first one was in Delhi,
Delhi.
the 2012, the one where I was participating. And it was a half an hour performance. And I was doing a little bit of a modern contemporary style of Odissi dance to, very beautiful Turkish Sufi music, which Muzaffar ji had given me to choreograph to. And then I was finishing it with a very high energy whirl. And so it was at Humayun's tomb, Arab Ki Sarai,
Oh, that
open.
must have been
It's a heritage
beautiful,
property.
yeah.
The moon was out, and the audience was actually quite far away. And the way Muzaffar ji had created the stage was that sama, that space, was surreal, right? It was not of this world. It was all the elements was there. There was fire, there was a sky, there was a night. There was a beauty, there was a fragrance, all the elements were available.
All the senses are like wide awake.
Yeah. So, and when I got, it was, everything just moved like a dream. But when I started whirling, I know I kind of moved out, like above myself. And I could watch myself, and my whirling went so fast. I don't think I've ever whirled so fast before. It just went on and on and on and on and on. It was like really a crescendo of energy building up. And finally the music stopped, and it was just like my body also just moved into a complete stillness, and it took me about a few days, almost a week, to come back down. And another really beautiful one was I was invited to perform at the Aurora Borealis conference, which happens in Svalbard, which is the closest land mass next to the Arctic. So just geographically, that position is very interesting.
Yeah, and it's magnetic.
Yeah, very. It's really the closest landmass next to the Arctic, and it was just all white. The sun was out, all the time. It never set. It was really lovely. And there again, the energy shift was really, really beautiful. To whirl in that space, something changes in the body. Yeah.
And so now what's next for you? Are you always a student, or are you just enjoying the space that you're in right now?
Both.
Both.
Always learning. There's never an end to it.
What is the other form of dance which is really inspiring to you?
So before I got into Odissi, I was very fascinated with the Argentinian tango.
Oh, yes.
And sometime in life when I have more time and I have access to some good training, I think that's something I would definitely like to explore.
Yes, we would love to see that for sure. And has it been difficult for you as a dancer in India to start performing, since you were not from this field or in this field, or really oriented your mind to become in this field, and now you're performing all over the world. So how has that professional journey been? Was it tough to kind of get in there?
It actually just kind of candidly developed.
Right.
So I was finding myself doing this as it was happening. I didn't have a plan. I didn't think that this is what I'm going to end up doing. An inquiry came and I responded, and another inquiry came and I responded, and then something more opened up, and another inquiry came and said, but we want also this, and I responded. So it's been an exploration, and it's I've also been really discovering it as I've come along.
And it's been 10 years.
Been 10 years.
And you dance alone, right? You don't have a troupe with you.
So sometimes I collaborate with other dance companies. I have another dancer that I work with a lot. We do duet performances a lot. And then I do a lot of solo.
Right. So you don't teach, like you don't have your own studio to teach and train and none of that. I wish you did.
I know. I would have to give up my clinic practice to do that.
And tell me a little bit more. You're also a craniosacral therapist, right?
Yeah.
So how did you get into that, and how does that merge with your dance?
So that I I was in the Osho meditation resort, training
Right,
in
for-
sacred
yeah.
dances. And somewhere along the line, I came across a lot of therapists there.
Right.
There were some really wonderful therapists from around the world teaching the most amazing paramedical therapies. I got interested in that. I explored a little bit, found craniosacral therapy. It really kind of spoke to me deep inside. It was scientific. At the same time, there was a gentleness to it, very naturalistic approach. So I did my basic training at the Osho Meditation Resort with the school from Switzerland that would come and teach. Then I went abroad and did my graduation, advanced specialization, and it's now almost 2 decades since I'm doing this.
The craniosacral.
Yeah.
So your clinic is, your patients come to you in
Yeah,
the clinic
yeah.
for your craniosacral
Yeah.
therapy.
So that's my full-time job.
That's your, when you're not
Yeah.
dancing, you did.
And then I have to steal time away from my clinic to keep up with my dance training and
So what
everything.
is your daily practice like? Do you practice dance every day or?
So if I have shows coming up, which is like say season time, September to March, then I'm in rehearsal about 3 times a week for about 3 hours each time. So about 9 to 10 hours of rehearsal a week. Keep up with some fitness training, keeping up with cardio, yoga for maintaining the body. The body is getting old. We just have to work that much harder.
No, it doesn't look old from any angle, that's for sure.
I would just say, owe it to yoga and things like that.
Yeah.
And then otherwise I have my practice about 5 to 6 days in the clinic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your main preferred form of fitness is yoga, other than that?
No, it's dance.
It's dance.
I can't wait to get into the dance. Even the warm up and the stretching before dance, I really struggle with it. I'm just like, can we just get into the dance?
You're just doing it because, okay.
Because you have to. I mean, you have to work with, for injury prevention,
Of
you have to
course,
warm
yes,
up the body and
stretches
stretch it and
yeah.
all of that. It also allows you to do so much more in dance.
Yeah.
So, but
The
really,
flexibility that you gain.
all of that, yeah.
That's just amazing. It's such an inspiring story, and we're so happy to see somebody who's embraced dance with such a deep spirituality.
Thank you.
You're a blessing to all of us, Zia. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.